Daisy Haggard plays a 30-something ex-con moving back in with her folks in a show that, without a bogus note, moves deftly among misery and chuckling. Scarcely any scenes into Back to Life, I wanted to push it away and fight. No, no. I cried internally. It's excessively acceptable. I'm despite everything handling Fleabag and home, and I haven't drained the juice out of Don't Forget the Driver yet. I need to amaze my delights, in case I pass on of a surfeit of brightness. This is an uncommon peril in a TV watcher's life, notwithstanding sterling endeavors from spilling administrations and the channels that are raising their game to keep up. However, here we are. The 6 scenes of Back to Life, BBC One, featuring Daisy Haggard and which she composed with Laura Solon, are obscurely blazing diamonds and the most distinguished accomplishment of their effectively noteworthy vocations. Rundown plays Miri Matson, a 30-something lady coming back to her folks and youth home in Hythe, Kent, following an 18-year stretch in jail. Her wrongdoing is uncovered genuinely right off the bat, however its gravity is clear from the off by the length of her sentence and by the antagonistic vibe with which her old neighborhood welcomes her. Dung is sent through the post, damaging spray painting painted on her folks' nursery divider and requests for employment dismissed. You can clean workplaces in heck, you debilitated bitch. At a certain point, a representation of her is attached to a tree in their nursery. This is actually what she wears, takes note of her mom, played by Geraldine James with her standard accuracy with heart. In any case, pressed. Nearby the riddle encompassing precisely what occurred on the night Miri carried out her wrongdoing, further muddled by an unusual Scandinavian man who is obviously reinvestigating the case, persuaded there is a further truth to be revealed, is the happening of her mom's issue with the last man in Hythe with whom she ought to fiddle. At that point there is Miri's get-to-know of Billy, a deal actor, last observed Thénardiering in Les Miserables, the man nearby who is thinking about his intellectually sick auntie, and the moving toward nearness of Mandy, Christine Bottomley, all fire and need, one of the individuals who was with Miri on the night the wrongdoing was submitted. Goodness, and there are simply the visits from Miri's superbly intrigued post-trial supervisor, Janice, who excuses her customers' every worry while working her way through the refreshments gave your bread game is solid, and exhorting on the key to successful Pilates, squeeze your bumhole shut and afterward you suck your tuft up into it. Janice is played by Jo Martin and is an air pocket of nitrous oxide infused straightforwardly into the vein. Amusing and deadly. The spirit of the story, however, is in Miri's endeavors to build an actual existence that has been on delay for a large portion of its length. She is a positive thinker, not in an angering or unfathomable manner, however essentially in the way that customary individuals can be. She can be wrecked and find a workable pace, bloodied and marginally more tired than previously, and lurch on. She is the entirety of a piece with the firmly woven authenticity of each other piece of Back to Life, which doesn't have a bogus note in it. No one does anything inept, outrageous, conflicting or bizarre. The magnificence of the content and the exhibitions, which fabricate connections so gently and normally, which balance so deftly all through melancholy and chuckling, and which transform conventional minutes into silliness and catastrophe without you seeing how they got you there, will blow your mind. A lovely talk between Miri's dad, Richard Durden, and a mother at the GP pierces your heart when he imagines he has grandkids and you discharge it's not only one life that has been on delay for about 20 years. You place your trust in Haggard and Solon's reality and it holds it without strain. It's where the purchasing of a dessert can be a signal that decreases you to tears, but then by one way or another an existence where you bark with chuckling at the same time. In the event that we need to make reference to the F-word, and I believe it's law now when something female drove shows up, and doubly so here when the arrangement was delivered by the group behind Fleabag, at that point it will simply be to state that they share practically speaking just what every extraordinary dramatization, comedies, puzzles and little screen fiction of any classification share for all intents and purpose: impeccable pacing, cleaned composing, complicatedly and painstakingly laid plots and settlements, and a standing sense that everybody included knows this story and its kin in their bones and has put forth a valiant effort, with ability to consume, to lay it before us. A surfeit of everything. Since you're here, we have a little kindness to inquire. More individuals, similar to you, are perusing and supporting The Guardian's autonomous, insightful news coverage than any time in recent memory. What's more, not normal for some news associations, we settled on the decision to keep our announcing open for all, paying little mind to where they live or what they can stand to pay. The Guardian will draw in with the most basic issues within recent memory, from the heightening atmosphere fiasco to broad imbalance to the impact of enormous tech on our lives. When authentic data is a need, we accept that every one of us, around the globe, merits access to exact revealing with honesty at its heart. Our publication freedom implies we set our own motivation and voice our own conclusions. Watchman reporting is liberated from business and political inclination and not impacted by very rich person proprietors or investors. This implies we can give a voice to those less heard, investigate where others dismiss, and thoroughly challenge people with significant influence. We trust you will think about supporting us today. We need your help to continue conveying quality reporting that is open and autonomous. Each peruser commitment, anyway enormous or little, is so significant.